Welcome back to Loan Officer Success Partner. I'm your host, Devin Dubuque, and man, we are here to bring some of the best people out there doing really cool things in this industry. And today, I've got somebody pretty awesome, man. Actually, really awesome. I brought in Sam May, and Sam is the man over at HomPwr. He started a really, really cool product that we need. We need stuff like what this guy has brought to market. So welcome, Sam, brother. Great to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks, Devin. I appreciate you having me. There's always exciting and new stuff happening in the mortgage industry, so I just really appreciate what you're doing for the crew out there.
100%, man. 100%. Well, we got to empower people and we got to lead them to the right tools. This has been I think it's been a difficult market for a lot of people. I've been doing this for 23 years and I've seen a lot of different seasons. And these last couple of years have been difficult, but it doesn't have to be. And when you've got the right tools and you're working with the right people, you could great success as your business. And I think that's why we had to have you on the show, man, because you've got a tool that loan officers need, right? And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. And I love what you introed with there. I was just having this conversation last night, talking about how who's remaining in the industry right now are, the killers in the space that are really, just always getting it done regardless of market conditions. But then there's this other class of people that just have hustle and grit and just never say die attitude, but they're just not quite sure what to do or how to do things. And that community really needs a helping hand right now. And I think, we all do, but I think them in particular, and a lot of that, my friend, has to do with the fact that that's who I used to be. Hustle and grit is my middle name. We need to help those guys, get to where they need to be and stay in this industry.
Empower them with knowledge and tools, and you've got them. So we're going to walk down that alley. But before we get over there, man, so where are you at, man? Where are you coming in from?
I am in San Diego. That is my hometown. I've been here for about 6.5 years. Born in Mississippi, though. Now, there are actually people that are from Mississippi, believe it or not. But I was raised in Southern California, in Orange County and San Diego. So that's good.
Very cool, man. So born in Mississippi. It sounds like you probably weren't there long. You ended up in a Cali kid pretty early on.
Yeah, I mean that twang doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, I was 5 years old when I came out here. But I like to say I was raised in SoCal with Southern roots. I mean, that's probably the best description.
Well, that's great, man, because Southern roots, they run deep, right? And from what I've found, you get that Southern hospitality, man, and when that's where your upbringing came from, I'm sure that apple didn't fall far from the tree.
No, sir. I mean, that's what it's all about. I really believe in community and helping people and being of service to your friends and neighbors and all those things. So, yeah, I mean, you could call that Southern values. I mean, I do.
Yeah, well, you should. I'm a Kansas kid. That's where I'm from originally. So, again, same there, right? We're always there to help each other out and, just be good to one another, So, I think you get those central and southern parts of the country and just a lot of great people out there, man. A lot of great people everywhere. But
yeah, amen to that. And I'll say this: one thing that I learned that really changed my business entirely, my approach to business, and it happened about 5 or 6 years ago. There's a realtor named Melissa Sophia, down here in San Diego, and she started running around introducing me to other real estate partners, talking about how I was her secret weapon. And it kind of blew my mind because I my whole career, I've kind of held everything close to the chest. Didn't want to share as if I've got all the secrets,
so many people do, and I think we've changed a little bit, but go ahead, man, let's run with it.
No, totally. And I think it's really important for anybody out there that is still of that mindset. Try it. Just try sharing all the best stuff that you have. Yeah. Neil Dinger talks about this too, where he says, look, you can give everybody your best stuff because there's only, 1 or 2% of them are actually going to do anything with it anyways.
Well, it's also about having an abundance mindset, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's more than enough out there for us all to take advantage of it. And it goes back, I can't remember, it was an interview or something about his book, but there's something I heard about Gary Keller. They're like, you wrote the book on how to do real estate. You've literally given people the roadmap. Why would you do that? And he's like, because exactly what you just said. There's only a few people out there that will actually take the time to do what I actually did. And if they did, game on, right? Like,
yes, let's go. The competition is healthy. We need it.
That's it.
That's what
man.
drives us.
It's what makes you great. It's what makes you great, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's the same way. You know, no, I don't want to share how I'm getting where I'm getting. And man, when the moment I flipped that switch, right, and made that difference, it just opened up so much more opportunity. Like, it was limitless. And now all of a sudden you're surrounding yourself with other people. Like, here's the deal. We are both in competing mortgage companies, right? Now we're talking about HomPwr, but we both are in mortgage, right? At the end of the day, we're still on this podcast, have a collaboration because you're doing cool stuff. We're doing cool stuff over here. And when two awesome worlds collide, big things happen, right?
Well, exactly. It's 1 + 1 = 3. I mean, that's the whole equation.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. So you get in, you're a secret weapon. Let's not forget where we're going with this, right?
Yes.
And she's like, man, Sam's my secret. Where does that go?
Yeah, so my entire career, I've always over delivered for my clients, and what does that mean? I mean, I believe in people over transactions. I believe in relationships over transactions, and to operate that way, it's the long game, right? Like the transaction business model works. I'm not dissing that model at all. But it takes some pain, some time, and a lot of energy to run a relationship model.
Absolutely.
And to really pour into your people. And so back in 2021, when things were just absolutely bananas, I had a ceiling. I'm like, I cannot keep delivering at the level that I am currently. Either I have to do less loans or for fewer clients, or I have to reduce my service level. And neither of those things was acceptable for me as an option.
Man.
So what I did is I started looking at some of the things that A, were either taking me a lot of time to produce, or B, I found myself repeating again and again and again and again, and looking for software and other solutions to try and solve some of those problems for me. And the problem is a lot of the tech that's in the mortgage world is not designed by mortgage people.
Yeah.
There's a great idea from a loan officer or somebody in leadership, and they'll hand it off to a dev team who's never done a loan.
Yep.
Right. And so the original thought, this was 4 years ago, the original thought was, let's do a blog, let's try to address some of the common concerns in a blog. Right. So I can just steer people there, give them the same taste of service, but in a digital format. Well, as we started doing that, we found ourselves developing tools within each blog post. Let's compare this against that. Let's, go deeper on one issue or another. And next thing you know, we got kind of this suite of tools.
Okay.
And that ultimately led to the development of HomPwr and what it really is.
Well, so before we dive into that too, Sam, I just want to say, man, this is what you said was such a true statement, right? Typically what happens with tech in this industry is somebody's got a great idea and they hand it off to somebody else, and somebody else who's not boots on ground builds it. And it's an eighth of what the original, if that, of what the original vision was, right? And we go, okay, well, good enough's good enough. It's going to suit some of my needs. I'll just run with it, right? Whereas when you get your hands in there as a technician, your business. In your case, you start a blog and you hear what everybody really needs. Now you can design a tool that isn't just okay. It's epic and it's a game changer, and everybody needs it, right? So let's lead back in with that.
Yes, no, 100%. And here's an interesting fact that not many people know about HomPwr is my partner, who's the head dev, at HomPwr, is a 50-50 owner with me. He actually became my LOA for a year and a half. He was deving all night and he was my LOA by day because he knew that he needed to learn the loan business in order to create a really fantastic mortgage product.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and now, I mean, last two and a half years, whatever it's been, he's just been full-time dev. And when I say full-time, I'm talking like 100 hours a week. This guy is a madman.
I get that though. Man, when you find a great tech guy, right? Somebody that just loves it, it's not work for them, right? So They dive in because literally, I love to use the term nerd out, man. You just nerd out and you're like, dude, look how cool I just made this thing, right?
Yes.
And then you show your new shiny tool to your buddy Sam and you're like, Sam, dude, look at this, right? I can already imagine those conversations that are happening behind the scenes.
Oh man, it's we just get giddy, man. It's like a kid on Christmas. And I'll tell you too, one of the things that he and I share that make us such great partners is that we're never satisfied. You know, a lot of people, you know, you're in it for the money, which, like, I'm not allergic to that, let's be honest, but
Yeah, 100%.
right. But, you know, we want to create great things. We want to create great experiences.
Right.
And so we're never satisfied. And a lot of times in the mortgage world, and what I've seen with a lot of the products that we compete against, you know, it's stale. It's been the same for the last decade, 2 decades or more. And it's, you know, it's just kind of sad.
Right.
We're better than that. I mean, right. So we have that relentlessness about us. And I just really appreciate
man.
that.
It's an insatiable thirst, right? It's an insatiable thirst. And sure, the money comes behind it. But at the end of the day, that's not the reason that you're doing it. You know, what I always say is, man, you know, people that are doing it just for the cash, it's okay, right? It will work out all right for you, you know. But people that are in it because they want to make something that's actually really usable, the cash becomes the sub value of it, right? But the real value of it is how many people are we serving and helping, right? And your tool not only helps the loan originators, but it gives borrowers and agents clarity, man. And that's a special thing, right? Because now you've got a tool that you can say, hey, look, this isn't just ours. We're going to share it with the world, and we're going to give people a little bit more clarity about what they're really getting into when they're doing mortgage.
Man, that's on point. You know, one of the things that's really important to understand and where our focus really started was looking at the entire buyer journey, you know, whether it's a refinance borrower journey, right?
Yeah.
And when you're talking about a purchase, I mean, these people take, you know, on average, I believe the stat is something like 8.7 months, you know, to buy a house. I mean, that's a really long time. And so we really wanted to dive into the psyche. Why? What is it that's the barriers or the sort of roadblocks or speed bumps that they hit that prevent them from making decision? And that is the key word there, is decision. I don't care if people are deciding to buy tomorrow or 5 years from now. I just want to help them make a decision that's good for them and their family. And that's a big task, right? Because there's so many moving parts when you're buying a home or financing a home. There's just a lot to unpack. And so I think it starts with choice. And this is why within our platform, we have to be careful, because a lot of people keep telling me, hey, we need like 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 different scenarios that we can present to our clients at one given time. Like now you've gone from choice to confusion, you know. So let's narrow the field down. Let's give people, I love the rule of threes. So we give them 3 choices. We're going to decide first. And a lot of times, you know, let's be real, people are choosing between down payments, they're choosing between loan products, they're choosing between loan structure, like should I buy down my rate or not, or whatever.
Right.
I think we need to address those issues one at a time. You know, so we present them 3 different looks at their overall picture for down payment.
Yeah.
You know, then we look at product, then we look at loan features, you know, and things of that nature. But if they don't understand what they're looking at, they will freeze and you will never get to that conversion point. That's why it takes them 8-9 months. What's more is not only are they going to freeze, but what are they going to do next? They're going to go shopping. I didn't feel like I got to explore all my options, or I don't know what's happening here. I don't understand it. Let me see if somebody else can explain it to me. Yep. There's a quote by Donald Miller that I absolutely love. And he says, people don't buy the best products. They buy the product they understand the fastest. And that is our objective, is how can I help that client or that realtor understand what we're trying to do here and what the best strategy is that fits their lifestyle, fits their belief system, fits their forecast for whatever they think is going to happen next. Right. How can we drive that decision better, faster?
Well, one thing that we always talk about on the show is confused buyers don't buy. Right.
Yeah.
Confused buyers don't buy. And it's 100% right. And so, so what do most loan officers do? You know, they present one option, you know, it's what the client asked for. And now are they really doing their job? Right. That's really more order taking. That's like driving up to the McDonald's window and saying, hey, I want a cheeseburger and French fries. Here's your cheeseburger and French fries. You know, and at the end of the day, if you don't like the price, you go to the next store and you go, hey, is yours cheaper than McDonald's? Right. And that's where you go. You know, and that's not a service. It's not a service to client, because the client may not realize that there's other opportunities out there that make more sense for them. Right. Yes. And so how do you display that to them and show it to them in a form that doesn't confuse them? So now what traditionally happens is, you know, okay, well, let's show them all the options. Well, that's too much. Because at the end of the day, and then it's drinking through a fire hose, and that causes confusion. So, you know, if you're using the tools that Sam has built, and using them properly, you're coming up with the 3 right choices for that particular client based on their needs and what their asks are, right? And now you're being able to sit down and show them with clarity exactly what that looks like, how that's going to work for them, and let them make an informed choice. And if they land on what they originally wanted, great. That's their decision, right?
Yeah, and the sickness that we have as loan officers, and the problem is that it compounds. The more experience that we have and the more knowledge that we gain, the less that we want to go through that exercise. Why? Because in about 10 minutes from talking to just about anybody, I've got a pretty good idea. I mean, I could say with like 99% certainty, Devin, this is what you should do. Yeah. And so my thought and my, what I want to do is just say, just do this one thing. The other challenge that we have is how long it takes to actually prepare the information for the client. And so if I'm experienced and I know what they should do, and it takes me a long time to show them other options, it's not going to happen. And so what we did is created a way to effectively demonstrate quickly, create and demonstrate really, really fast. We call it the 11-minute legend. I mean, it's 1 minute to price your stuff, 2 minutes to create 3 different quotes with charts with all the data that these people could possibly want to consume. And then we record an 8-minute video to walk them through all the options so that they can watch it again and again and again. Here's an interesting fact too. The first time buyers watch these videos on average between 6 and 7 times.
I believe that.
The move-up buyers are 2 to 3 times, but it's multiple times. And the best part is that it's my best pitch every time, because if it's not, I'm just going to hit the delete and re-record.
Let's talk about that, man. Because again, we go back to this. Most originators also aren't recording their consultation, or if they're even having a true consultation, right? But what you just said, and I'm sure you've clocked this, you probably have back-end tech that shows you this. The average person is going back and watching that video 6 to 7 times. Why is that? Because mortgage is complicated, and making the right decision for you, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to study and go, wait a minute, what did Sam say right there? Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with clients where I've said this before. I'm like, man, I really just wish I could take a USB cable and port my brain to yours, or an HDMI. It's a little new, we're in a newer age of tech, and just be able to feed it all into you so that you can see it, right? And that's what you've built here, right? You've built a machine that gives them the ability to see it. It could literally see it plain day, but then at the same time, now go back and study it like game tape, right? And going, okay, that's the right choice for me, right? So, loan officers, if you're out there listening, and I promise you, clients that are out here listening go, well, how do I find a list of loan officers that are using this technology? Because I need access to it, right? I need access to this. So, ultimately, you've got this program that does that, but it does more, right? I mean, that's just tip of the iceberg on what it does, because we've also talked about how it benefits realtors, right? You have a whole nother segment in there that's centered around, helping realtors with their open houses, correct?
Yes. I mean, so it's sort of becoming a Swiss Army knife, for loan officers. We're trying to avoid that and stay focused. But truth be told, I run a region for a mortgage company in Southern California, and sometimes I need to build things because my team needs them, and there's just nothing else out there that will do what we need it to do. And so I just started putting those things out there in the platform, and we give them away for free. We don't even charge for them. Digital business card. Okay, cool. We all know we need that stuff. But I didn't have one that had all of the, place for my NMLS number, for equal housing opportunity, for that kind of stuff. I mean, just the basics, right?
That's right.
So we built that. We gave it away for free. It's cool. Approval letter generator. I don't know about you, but those phone calls at 9:30 on Sunday night, like, I need the letter now.
I get this offer in. Yeah. I want to make it say exactly what our offer is. No more, no less. Yeah.
So we built a portal for them to generate and download letters that are based on the qualifying factors that I have set for the client, right? So the client can download them, the agent can download them. Truth be told, only 20% of them are actually going to do that. So a lot of times it's just me in the back end downloading the letter myself.
Right.
But it's way faster than trying to do it even in Google Docs or something else, and it looks nice if I'm,
because some of them look great. Well, some of the pre-approval letters out there, they're still pretty basic, right? It's like a standard Word document, in Arial type. It's like, this isn't pretty, right?
100%.
Yeah.
But my favorite free thing that we give away, Devin, is we call it open house mode.
Yeah.
And really what it's about a couple of things. Man, loan officers and agents alike, we just have this idea in our heads that open houses are dead, that you can't get business from open houses or whatever the case may be. But if you look at who those people are that are coming into the house, I mean, these are the most high intent buyers that are walking into the door. You have a stream of them. I mean, we would pay thousands of dollars to set up a room to have buyers that are ready to buy parade through, right? I mean, any given.
Yeah.
That's what
think about what we spend on marketing to dial into that, right? Like, how do I tap into the guy or gal that's ready to buy a house right now? I wonder where I can find those people, and how much money I'm going to pay a Zillow or a direct mail company, right? Or an email marketing, which is probably a terrible way to spend your money. But, at the end of the day, how much am I willing to spend to do that opposed to going where the borrowers are, right?
Yes. Yes. And here's the best part for loan officer is not only do you get to do the parade of borrowers, but you're doing it with an agent partner or a prospective partner. So you're killing two birds with one stone. I mean, you're wowing your agent partner and you're wowing, or have the opportunity to wow a borrower at the same time. So I think part of the problem is the approach to an open house. I started doing some surveying of realtors and loan officers alike about lead capture and how they were doing it at opens, and I don't want to say a name here, but there was one broker that I had talked to. I said, how many opens are you guys doing every weekend? She's like, about 20 for the team.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, how many people on average are coming through? And then about 10 per open. Like, so you got 200 people walking through your opens every weekend. How many are you guys capturing? How many make it to your CRM come Monday? Yeah. 0.
Yep.
It was just like a mind blown.
We got a sign in sheet, but nobody really signs in on it. Nobody's really asking them to do that, right? Yeah.
And if they do, where does it go? It ends up in the trash a couple weeks later in the trunk of the car, gets emptied out at the car wash, right? Yeah.
None of those people really seem like they're that interested. So, I get it.
We think about too, like, what is it that the borrower wants and the buyer wants to know when they walk in the door, right? They want to know, do I like this house and can I afford it? Yeah. And what we're doing in practice, by and large, is we're giving them a flyer with a bunch of pictures of the house they're already standing in, with a description on it that they already read, because that's part of what got there, right? And then what? And if there's a loan section on there, it's usually like 18 different scenarios and all this stuff, as if they're going to fill out an application right now. It's
exactly.
We need quick, simple, easy, branded, give me something that's a little bit more engaging. And so that's what open house mode is. It's just one picture of the property, so they remember what it is, right? It gives them simple loan scenarios, singular, and I'll explain on that in a second. And then lastly, what we're doing is we're giving them a one-touch start a conversation. Let's start a conversation about this property. And if they hit that button, it's a three-way text between the agent, the client, and the loan officer, right? And it even pre-populates a message and just says, hey, I was at this open with the address here. Want some more information, right? Like, that's it, just so we can remove that friction. Okay, so that's the intro. Now we got to get them to scan it when they're at the open house. So that's a training session that we do with agents.
That's right.
And then lastly, and the most critical component here, okay, this is absolutely monumental. What are you saying when you follow up on Monday? And who's doing that work? And so the whole value proposition of open house mode for loan officers, I'd say, hey, Devin, listen, I've got this great system that I created that helps my agent partners capture and convert leads from open houses. I'd love to share it with you. Boom, new agent relationship started.
That's it.
Next, so I sent him a sample of that. Next, I'm going to show them what I do when I follow up. So Devin, I'm going to do the follow up for you so you don't have to. And I'm going to copy you on every bit of communication that I send. So you'll be in the loop. You can chime in, jump in, add some value as you see fit. But I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to use a system that works. And so what we do on Monday is I say, hey, Devin, great meeting you at the open house. If I was there, if not, I'm like, hey, I'm the loan officer for the open house. I know you saw my payments, but I wanted to show you what I normally create for clients. And I sent him a HomPwr with 3 different scenarios. Now, it's not specific to this property. Okay, and that's really important. Like, I'm not trying to give them a quote before I have any information. right? I've just given him a
Just an
scenario.
example. This is somebody else's deal on some other property, but this is what I would provide to you.
Yes. And I give them a 2 minutes, just a quick, hey, these are the kind of things that we typically go through, like different down payment options, cost structures, whether, cost of waiting, like, does it even make sense for you to buy right now? Some of these things. So if you would like me to create something custom like this for you, let me know. Let's jump on a 10-minute call. We'll go from there.
It's huge.
That's it. That's it.
It's huge. It's a value proposition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just, hey, I went and saw an open house. Oh, they're going to hammer me down with, things that I don't really care about come Monday morning, right? This is value, and either they love it or they don't. Most will probably love it because they're not getting that type of treatment from whomever they already are talking to, right?
Yes.
And you're literally, whether you're at the open house or not, you're showing them a little peek behind the curtains of what it's going to look like to work with you. But in addition to that, but wait, there's more, right? The agent is now seeing how you're working on their behalf. And if you didn't already have that partnership, man, let me tell you something. When they see those calls coming in, those responses coming in through text message and are privy to the conversations that are happening, let me tell you something. It means a lot. It's funny. You and I met on a morning show a couple months back, Redder morning show to be specific. Let's give those guys a shout out, man. Redder is awesome. Stephen Wines is the CEO. Scott Hudspeth brings the heat on his show. Guys like you.
Love Scott.
Right? Exactly. So I got to give them some props. And you were talking about yours. And I just want to put this in premise because I built a similar tool, but mine's not marketable and can't be sold, right? And to get my tool to work, I'm doing 4 different things to make that happen, right? So effectively, we're going into our CRM system, we're creating a landing page, we're linking that to a QR code, we're pulling up a list reports in the background or an OSI report in the background that's linking the property, we're building a campaign that's going to do the follow-up, and we're doing this on every single transactions when we do an open house, right? And we've done this before. We've gone out, demoed it to a real estate agent. In fact, build it right there in front of them. Hey, this is what we're going to do for you. And they're like, holy crap. Literally, the first one that we did this for, they had some flyers on the counter from another loan officer. And they're like, go throw those in the trash. You're my new guy, right? Like, this is it. But I've seen yours. It's way better than what I've got, right? And mine is literally on demand, right? Like, or not on demand. Yours is on demand. Literally, yours is as simple as, hey, here's the open house. This is what we're doing. Boom, we're ready to rock and roll, right? So, guys, I just want to explain to you, A, kudos for you for building this machine. B, recognize that that's only part of the machine. We already talked about the cool stuff at the beginning. This is just the stuff that's the icing on the cake in the background, right?
Free. Like, you don't have to pay for it. And not only is it free, but we give away the scripts. I give you like links to video examples of stuff that I'm saying when I'm out there. We give you training for the agent stuff. And the point is, it's kind of an Alex Hormozyism here, but like, if you love my free stuff, you're going to absolutely love my paid stuff. So that's selfishly, I want to put our work on display and say, this is what you can expect.
Yeah. Well, it's huge, man. It's huge what you're doing. It's huge what you've built. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's taken the time to get to this point in the podcast, mine just blew up, right? Just like, oh my God, this exists. Did he say free? Hold on a second. Because guess what? If you want to put it to the test, take the Pepsi challenge, right? Like, run the gambit and see what you think. And at the end of the day, I promise your mind's going to be blown because I've seen the software and I've seen what it does, right? And then you're going to want to buy the whole thing, right? Like,
amen.
I want the whole process from start to finish. So, well, Scott. Talk about Scott Hudspeth, man. You got him on. God damn it, man. You're on my mind, brother. Sam, my man. As much as I would love to keep you here all day and talk about this cool tech, because I'm sure we could keep going down the rabbit hole, and it does way more and stuff that you probably have brewing in the background. In fact, we'll talk about that here in a second. I think there's something going on in May. But what did we not cover today that we should have?
And thank you again, Devin. This has been awesome, man. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I love what you do and how you do it, more importantly. But right now, I think as you mentioned earlier, the industry's hurting. Like, people are hanging on by their fingernails, and we're trying to do something about that. So I'm teaming up with a whole lot of industry influencers, people that really know their stuff, that are really fantastic at what they do. People like Neil Dingra. But it's Jade Buckley at the Mortgage Kitchen is who came up with this idea with myself to host a contest. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's going to be absolutely amazing. And here's where you can get some more information about it. So if they follow me on Instagram, it's at Lone Guy SD, D as in David for San Diego, at Lone Guy SD. That's where we're going to announce. We're going to announce the contest, and there's going to be an in-person event and a live stream to launch the contest on May 29th. So save the date.
May 29th.
But it is. Yes. And it is. It's just our way of giving back. And yes, selfishly, of course, I get to promote an awesome product, what I believe is an awesome product at the same time. But I think it's really important for what's happening in the industry right now.
Absolutely.
And I was looking at rates just to kind of close out that thought. I was looking at rates for the last 2 years. I spoke at a caravan the other day, and I'm like, guys, the rates are basically flat for 2 years. Like, can we stop talking about rate and praying that the mortgage gods are going to make it rain five handles on us or something? You know, it's not happening. Yeah. So we got to do something else.
It's a normal market, man. This is a normal market. It doesn't feel normal. I talk about this all the time. It doesn't feel normal just because of what happened, what we just went through, right? You know, I mean, again, you know, you guys are probably sick and tired of hearing me say, but 23 years ago, I was in a refinance boom. Rates were at 6.5. They got down to 5.5, and it was just pandemonium, right? You know, we get into a market, rates get down to the ones, and all of a sudden people think that's the standard. And I do realize we had the perfect storm, right? We had rates really low, and then property values went way up. So it did make it difficult to make homes affordable. But there's solutions right now. And tools like Sam's are going to help you see the clarity so that you can have that understanding of what's out there for you, right? And how to get into a mortgage that makes sense for you. And don't get me started on credit cards, because we focus so much on interest rates on mortgage when average credit card today is like 27, 28, 29%, right? Like that's mafia, like F you pay me kind of money, right? And we're worried about a 6%, 6.5% mortgage rate, you know? So, and I can tell you how many people are held hostage on credit card debt, but that's another podcast for another day, right? So Sam, you just rattled off your stuff. Just so you guys know, if you look in the lower thirds, it probably ran across screen, but if you didn't get a chance to jot that down, look at the description, because we're going to have Sam's information right there so you can get on there. As we're recording, it's May 2nd. This is going to launch next week. So sometime around the 9th, this will go out the door, maybe a couple days before that. And then 29th of May, pay attention, go to that site, get yourself registered. Where else though? Where else can we find you? Where can we find this amazing
HomPwr? Thank you for the plug, man. I appreciate that. And HomPwr is HOMPWR. HOMPWR. We got cute with it. You know,
it might be on your hat.
.com. So homepwr.com, at Lone Guy SD. That's where they can find me. And, you know, as always, Devin, I just really appreciate what you do. So thank you again for having me on.
Well, brother, we appreciate what you do, you know, out there building tech for people that need it, you know, and that's what it's all about. We started the podcast with this in the green room, talking about empowerment of others and how great collaboration can be to get more people to see what's available to them, right? And that's really what we care about here. At the end of the day, buy the product, don't buy the product, empower yourself.
That is the power. That is the power in HomPwr. It's all about empowering loan officers, empowering clients, empowering people. You know,
amen, man. Amen. You're pulling up my heartstrings, brother. You're pulling up my heartstrings. So, well, guys, Sam May, he's awesome. I told you before we started this thing, he's awesome, super awesome guy. And he's out there building things that you need. And man, just go take a look. I'm telling you, pull a peek behind that curtain. And, you know, he's got a Ferrari back there, man. It's super sick. So thanks again, brother. Appreciate you coming out here, being on the show, my man. And guys, you know who we are. We're the Loan Officer Success Partner. You know, keep coming back every week. We keep bringing great guests like Sam. Maybe we can get him back for a repeat or a three-peat, right? You never know what happens, right? But you know, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, if you've got questions, ask. We're here to give you answers. Until the next